Hello, I'm Mark Hughes from China Daily. I'm joined now by Tony Blair, and we're talking about the climate and the challenges we face in the forthcoming years. Mr. Blair, you've got a deadline 4 months away really for the Copenhagen talks. How are you going to cram it all in and bash people's heads together?
I think the difference today from, say, a few years ago is that there's enormous goodwill and determination. I mean, here in China, the Chinese leadership's absolutely committed to tackling this issue. It's become a major part of its domestic policy. The Americans are now fully committed to it, the Europeans. So yes, it's going to be a big challenge, but on the other hand, I think the desire is there to reach an agreement at Copenhagen in a way it wasn't there 12 years ago at Kyoto.
Do you think you've got a special relationship with the Chinese?
Personally, I come here a lot and enjoy very much the interaction. But I think that the key to this is the Chinese determination itself to recognise this is a problem. It has to be tackled. And if you look at what they're doing in terms of energy intensity, new technology, renewable energy, it's pretty impressive.
And what about Barack Obama? Do you think the change in government in America will change attitudes there?
Well, I think President Obama's made it clear he's determined to deal with the issue as well. It's become a major part of his domestic program. There's a climate change bill before Congress at the moment. Now, for the political leaders, they have challenges on every side in relation to this. It's difficult, it's tough. I mean, President Obama's under intense pressure in the US over the issue. The Chinese leadership, of course, has got a balanced commitment to action on climate change with economic growth. These are not easy questions. But what I would say is the level of determination is bigger than it's ever been before. And I really believe this time that China and America need not be in collision on this issue. They can cooperate to find a common solution. And I think that is their shared collective will.
Who are you seeing from the Chinese side while you're here?
I saw Premier Wen yesterday. It was a very good meeting in which we talked about climate change, obviously. I'm seeing the Vice Premier today, and various of the parts of the Chinese leadership, and also China's business and industry, who will play a very important part in this.
Now, I understand that you believe science and technology will help solve the environmental threat. Is that true?
For me, the issue is how do we consume differently? It's not how do we stop consuming. If you tell people that the answer to climate change is that they can't drive in a motor vehicle or go in a plane, you're not going to solve it, because people will just say, well, for the first time in human history, we have the means of enjoying these benefits. We want to carry on enjoying them. What we've got to do is develop the science and technology that allows us to consume differently. And the examples are there for us to see. So, for example, in low energy lighting, there is available for people, if they want it today, the opportunity to light their homes differently. People can, the new buildings that are being designed in China today have got a 50 or even 60% greater energy efficiency than they did a few years back.
Now, the delightful Li Bingbing is planting 2,000 trees, and it was a pleasure to see that. Are you planting any trees?
We will be, actually. And, I'm delighted to be part of that initiative. Here's the thing. There are also simple ways that people can help. So this, the Climate Change Project's initiative to allow people for 5 RMB to go and buy a tree, that's a great, easy, simple way that people can make a difference. And the fact that you've got someone like Ms. Li prepared to involve herself in it, of course, it gives it a little, in fact, more than a little glamour.
With the global economic crisis at the moment, is that going to impact on attempts to create a greener world?
My view is, I think the Chinese word, and I always get the pronunciation a little bit wrong, but is weiqi, which is crisis and opportunity. That's how we should look at climate change. And the economic crisis similarly. So it is a crisis, but it's also an opportunity to restructure our economies, to invest as countries are investing. So let us invest in clean technology. for the future.
And can I just ask you what your legacy might be? What would you like your legacy to be?
I think on this issue, in respect of climate change, I mean, the broader politics is another matter, but I think on this issue, I think when in 2005 we put climate change on the G8 agenda for the first time, I think that was an important breakthrough, actually, because it then, we didn't just put it on the G8 agenda, we then involved in what I called then the 8+5, which was China and India, Brazil, Mexico, South Africa came in as well. And I think that concept of putting the major economies together in order to tackle this problem was important to do.
Finally, as we understand it, the people of Europe and the United Kingdom are fascinated with what goes on in China, and we in China are fascinated with what goes on in there. So we're launching, the China Daily is launching a European edition of its newspaper to inform the Europeans. Do you have any message for that, or is there anything you think about that, given the current media climate?
I think it's great if the China Daily is having a European edition that allows us to study what's going on in China, and everything that improves the relationship and understanding between Europeans and Chinese is, for me, a positive.
Thank you very much, Mr. Blair.
Thank you.